Hey everybody, come join the party. Your girl is tired. I'm tired, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to you today. This is the perfect episode because I had to practice some real self-discipline myself because I'm tired. And I don't know why. I'm just tired. Still gonna wait on some more people to join in. If you are here, make sure that you share the video so that all of our friends can get in on the conversation, because I need as many voices as possible today. We're also talking about some sex. Y'all know y'all nasty. So we're gonna talk about discipline. We're gonna talk about sex. We're gonna talk about whatever else comes to our minds. Go ahead and hit share if you're here. If you are here, please be an active participant. Hey Kenya, hey Karian. Don't be afraid to actually click on the video. I know sometimes we go into creep mode on lives where you just watch the video without actually clicking it. But go ahead and join so that you can be a part of the conversation. Again, this is episode 4 of my podcast. As you all can see, I have my setup here, going live. Y'all see boxes in the background. I'm moving soon. Let's pretend that they're not there. Again, I'm going to wait for a couple more people to get in. And then we're going to get started. This is probably going to be a quick episode also because I'm tired, y'all. I'm real tired. I ain't going to lie. I've been real lazy. I'm early today. Okay, that's cool. Shout out to everybody that's here. I see a lot of people that were here before. Welcome back. Every Monday we're going live. I'm expecting this to be a quick episode. I said that last week and we talked for almost an hour. But I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm a little under-prepared today. But again, you all kind of gauge the flow of the conversation anyway. So I'm gonna start in about another minute. It's 6:01. I start recording in about another minute or so. Hey, Brianna. Hey, Corey. Oh, I'm slow, y'all. I'm thinking it's something on my forehead, but it was something on my phone screen that was over my forehead. Told y'all I'm tired. How are you all doing? Make sure you hit share when you come in. Y'all, my edges is OC. I had these braids for maybe like not even a month yet. And I have to get them rebraided on Friday because it's hard out here. All right, so I'm thinking we can get started. Of course, more people are going to come in as we talk. Again, please don't be afraid to be a part of the conversation. Your opinions are needed, they're necessary, and that's what makes this podcast the People's Podcast and not Toya's podcast. Please share your opinions, even if they differ from my own. The only thing that I ask is that you disagree with me respectfully because, like I say every week, these hands still get active. So, yeah, just be respectful. Again, we're talking about self-discipline, and I hope this goes well. So let me do the intro, and then we're going to start talking. Okay? All right. Hold on. Again, people that just joined, boxes in the background. I'm moving soon. My mic is, like, tripping. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Toya. Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's the People's Podcast. This is episode 4, and we are calling this episode Get Her Done. The reason that I call this episode Get Her Done is because we're talking about self-discipline. And we're talking about motivating yourself to do the things that you set for yourself. The last couple of episodes, we talked about... The last couple of episodes, we've been talking about creating goals and achieving them. But I feel like it was necessary for this episode to sort of talk about keeping a constant flow once you do start to achieve those goals. And that's why I decided to talk about discipline, and even more specifically, self-discipline. If you're just joining for the first time on any streaming platform, please feel free to join the conversation on Facebook Live every Monday, 6 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is where I talk to all my people. That is where we share opinions live. So if you ever want to be a part of the conversation live, please feel free to join us on Facebook Live. So, let's see. That should be an everyday intro that flows so smooth. Oh, the fact that my hands still work. Yeah, because, people be getting real disrespectful. So, don't let this new age media get y'all beat up. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So this episode, self-discipline. And I want to start off simply by saying this episode is personal to me because having discipline is something that I really lack with. There are so many goals that I have that are small, not like such big goals, but that could have a big impact just on like my everyday life. For example, my diet. And I really hope that my trainer isn't on here because he makes me a meal plan that I should follow every day. But I don't, y'all. I still be buying fast food sometimes. And I'm lazy, right? And so in my mind, I've been telling myself like this whole little quarantine period, like, oh, I'm going to eat healthy. And I eat healthier, right? I eat healthier. And I've been telling myself, I'm going to go vegetarian for a little while. I done told myself I'm going to be vegan. Child, I had some chicken tenders today and french fries. But potatoes are vegetables, so potato is a vegetable. But yeah, and so that discipline and that aspect I feel like is really important in my life is a diet. But I know for some people there are other things like even working out, being consistent in the workspace is something that we struggle with. So if you're joining us on live, what are some of the things that you struggle to be disciplined on? Mine is my diet. I will work out. If y'all seen my post earlier today on Facebook, I work out like 3 days a week. And that's honestly, y'all, because I pay for it. But at the same time, I pay for healthy food and it goes bad. So, I mean, self-discipline is something, once you can conquer what it is that you want to do, and you're able to do it consistently, I think that you are a winner and you should be sharing your tips with me. So I have a comment. Brianna, she said, we have to break bad habits to build good ones. The goals have to be tangible for sure. Exactly. But also when I think about creating, breaking bad habits, a lot of the stuff that we do habitually are things that we've learned, is it subconsciously or unconsciously? Not unconscious, because that means you're not awake. That you've learned subconsciously growing up, right? Personally, eating, being vegetarian, being vegan, like my family would be like, what you mean you don't eat meat? Like even now I don't eat pork and I still go to family events and people are like, what do you mean you don't eat pork? You bougie, you don't eat pork? So some things like that, like we've learned those habits and that's what we're used to. So it's really hard to sort of go against the grain with some things in order to maintain that discipline. Also, temptation is terrible. If I am out with my friends or if friends invite me to go out to eat, you think I'm about to be at Buffalo Wild Wings or Hooters or Fridays, Chili's, Outback Steakhouse, and I'm about to get a salad while everybody else getting steaks and chicken wings and all of that? No. Pass me some wings, all flats, extra ranch, because that's what I want. You know what I mean? So discipline is really, 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 really something that I struggle with. But it's something that I think is necessary. Now, if you're struggling with discipline like me, I feel like what I am in the season of right now is sort of that mental state. So this is kind of going back to the first couple of episodes. Not the same wavelength, but the same type of idea of like mentally creating the habit before you physically go after it. So like mentally, I've been telling myself for a long time now that I cannot eat meat. And I've been trying to be realistic with myself and give myself like a small time frame. Like, okay, I won't eat meat 3 days a week, or I won't eat meat for a week and then go back to eating just, seafood, things like that. So what are some of the things that you all do, or what are some of the goals that you all have where you have to practice discipline, and specifically self-discipline? Okay, so that's the question that I have for everybody on live. And before we get to that, I actually looked up the actual definition of discipline and self-discipline. They're different, okay? So by definition, according to dictionary.com, discipline is the practice of training people to obey rules or codes of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience. Now, when I read that definition, I said that was a little extreme for the point that I'm trying to get across. Discipline being that you have to obey rules, codes of behavior, and that you have to be punished for disobedience. I mean, I could kind of work with that, but I felt like I needed something that was a little more specific. Hey, Newman. Hey, Camille. So I looked up the definition of self-discipline. And self-discipline is the ability to control oneself and overcome one's weaknesses. The ability to pursue what one thinks is right despite temptations to abandon it. And when I looked up that definition, I was like, okay, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And so self-discipline, what I really want to talk about in the definition is overcoming weaknesses. So in order to be disciplined in something, you have to realize that you're weak at it. You have to realize that it's something that you easily give into. Because you can't be disciplined in something you already do. That's like me saying, I'm a teacher, I teach every day. Like, yeah, that you do that already. So there's no, you know what I'm saying? You can refine it and you can make it more disciplined, but that's something that you already do habitually. So that's not what you want to go and sort of achieve self-discipline for. So when you think about self-discipline, you really have to reflect on yourself. Like, what is it that your flesh is weak for? What is it that you sort of, in the definition, it also says that you can easily abandon because of temptation. So what are some of the things that you're weak at? Satan says yes, and admitting that weakness is hard. That is so hard, right? Because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I try so hard to be like this seemingly healthy person. I'm not. Yeah, no. Working out has been a challenge. But the eating part is, y'all, food is the devil, okay? When I think about being vegetarian, when I think about being vegan, I like food that tastes good. And even beyond just eating better, I feel like personally, if I were to be successful at being a vegetarian or being vegan or being a pescatarian, I would have to cook more. I don't like that idea. Like, I am the baby of my family, y'all. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and I'm the baby. And I didn't have to do much cooking coming up. So I'm probably the weakest link in the kitchen, okay? Now, I'm not saying that if I do cook, like, I cook what I know how to cook, but don't sign me up for nothing for Thanksgiving dinner, is what I'm saying, okay? And so becoming disciplined in my eating habits, I would have to cook more. That's discipline in itself. Like, yeah, I don't mind eating healthy, but it's easy for me to go on Grubhub or I got all the food apps, y'all. Grubhub, Eat Street, DoorDash. It's easy because they got all the unhealthy restaurants on there. You know what I mean? They ain't got no vegan restaurants on Grubhub, so you want me to cook everything I eat? No, that ain't gonna work. Then people want to buy me food, like I go out to eat and somebody might try to get something, or somebody's out getting food and they give me something. You want me to just say no when I'm hungry? Who? No, not I, because, yes, get me a burger and I want an egg on it and I want, lettuce, pickles, tomatoes, onions. You feel me? Like, discipline, it is so hard. That's why I feel like mentally I have to get myself to the point where it's like I gotta give myself an ultimatum, kind of like, if you don't do this, then this will happen. I got some comments. Okay, I feel like I need to make Staten the MVP of the People's Podcast, because he be talking, honey. He needs to be the first guest. But he says, right, it's so hard to be healthy, and that is such a turnoff. You have to cook, prep, work out, count calories, watch how much you take in is too much. It is too much, right? But honestly, it's only too much when you start. Because I know plenty of people that are like vegetarian, vegan, that eat healthy all the time, and it's like second nature to them. And I think it's too much for us because it's something we're not used to. Here's why I'm going to argue that statement. I don't think it's too much. I think it's something that we're used to, because if you think about your parents cooking soul food, Thanksgiving dinner, black people. So Thanksgiving dinner don't be ready till about what? 7, 8, 9 o'clock? But Granny and them in the kitchen all day. You know what I mean? Sunday dinner don't be ready till about 6 o'clock. But as soon as you get home from church, Auntie, Big Mama in the kitchen cooking all day. Same thing with being vegan. Y'all know y'all been watching Tabitha Brown. She be making them little vegan dishes look like she whip them up in 20 minutes and be over it. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's a part of becoming, practicing self-discipline more too, is convincing yourself that it's not too much, it's just new. And that's with anything, new jobs. My first year teaching, I was like, oh, no, this is too much. It's too much. But once you get into the groove of what it is that you're doing, you get used to it. I got some comments. Bryson, he says, meal prep and budget. It lessens the temptation and puts you on track for a goal, health goals, weight loss, vacations, etc. Facts. Now, I'm speaking from my own experience. So, Bryson said to meal prep and budget. Now, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. This is where the discipline comes in. I have meal prepped, I kid you not, cooked food for a whole week. I look at that freaking grilled chicken breast, that asparagus, and them sweet potatoes, and I be like, I'd rather have a burger. That's where discipline comes in too. So I feel like discipline and self-discipline is so multi-tiered that it's like you have to sort of, it's like you got to have like the eye of the tiger type thing. Like you wanting to reach your goal has to be more important than, you know, the temptation that you're facing or the fact that you don't want to do something. For example, if you weren't on when I first started, I was talking about how tired I am right now. Like I'm not even going to stunt y'all. I did not want to record today. I just didn't feel like I had much to say. But I just been real tired lately. And it's like, dang, but I told these people I'll be on there every Monday. But at the same time, I didn't want to get on here looking dry and sounding dry. But it's like discipline comes into play once you've done all those prerequisites. And then it's like go time. I got a refrigerator full of fruit, vegetables. You know what I'm saying? I got some chicken breasts in there thawed out. I went to Chili's today. I ordered to go because Rona. But, because who? I don't want that. You know what I mean? That's when your mind is sort of what you have to control. Self-discipline is a mental thing, I feel like. And until you overcome that mental temptation, you're not going to be successful. It's hard. And so I feel like I'm talking a lot, but I'm also asking you all for advice because, like I said, this is something personal that I struggle with, is being disciplined. Hold on, y'all. I'm hot. I had to turn my fan up. But, yeah, so I have comments. I'm going to read them. I have Brianna. Brianna said, you also have to figure out why you're doing what you're doing. It has to be, I want to be vegan because I want to be healthier. Thank you. I want to be healthier to do X, Y, and Z, or to avoid X, Y, and Z, and then take baby steps towards your goal. Brianna, that is so freaking helpful. I love this idea of your why. And anything you do, I feel like you have to establish your why. And I feel like, I'm glad Brianna said that, because in my mind that made me think of like affirmations for, not the same as like the big goals you're trying to reach, but I feel like I have to remind myself like, I want to be vegan so that I can have more energy, so that I can feel healthier, so that my mind can be better. So that is a very good point. And I'm actually going to pin that comment because I think that's key. Getting back to your why is major in discipline, because if you don't have a reason for doing something, you're not going to want to do it. I have Brianna. This is Brianna's. Oh, hold on. My phone falling. This is Brianna Styles. I have two Briannas. And she said, I tried meal prepping, but I get tired of eating that specific meal or simply just don't want to. And that's my problem, too, with meal prepping, yo. Like, I'm the type of person where I don't want to keep eating the same thing over and over again. Like, if I meal prep, I probably have to cook a bunch of different stuff, and maybe I'll try that next. I want to cook a bunch of different things because I don't want to eat the same thing every day. Like, today I might want chicken noodles. Tomorrow I might want a steak with baked potatoes and broccoli. Like, I don't want to eat the same dry ass food every day. That's my struggle with meal prepping. Camille, this is important content and I'm getting so much from it. I love it and I'm glad you're back. We missed you last week, Camille. Yeah, so what are some things you all do? And then also, I be bored, y'all. So it's like, sometimes, especially right now during quarantine, me getting outside for the day is me going to get some food. I ain't gonna lie. Like, me going to Chili's today, besides my workout this morning, was the only time I went outside. So sometimes I'm going outside just to go to the restaurant because I don't want to sit in the house all day. Yeah. Being disciplined is hard. I try to make it, and this is Camille's comment. Being disciplined is hard. I try to make it fun by either cooking with a friend or my boyfriend, getting family recipes, or cooking for a large group of friends. I don't like people like that, and I don't even know if I could cook for a large group. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I told y'all don't sign me up for no dishes at Thanksgiving. Maybe that's why I ain't found a man yet, because I can't cook Thanksgiving dinner, but we'll talk about that later. Brianna said, I swear to the meal preppers, prep 2 days at a time. I'm the same way. I hate leftovers. Okay, so that's the thing too. Maybe I should meal prep 2 days at a time, because I try to do it for the whole week. Like, literally, y'all, I have a whole meal plan for my trainer, and if he is watching this right now, I'm so sorry, but I went to Chili's and I got some chicken tenders and some french fries, and it was so good. But then I just be feeling lazy after. So maybe I should do 2 days at a time instead of overwhelming my mind with the fact that I have to eat the same thing every day. Or I could just season the food differently, right? And that would, I don't know, some kind of way I'll trick my brain into it. All right, going back to Bryson. He says, meal prep and diversity comes with the versatility of the main protein. Okay, you sound like my trainer, but I'm going to keep reading your comment. You can also just prep things and keep them in the fridge. Season some chicken, marinate some steak, cut some vegetables. Okay. Get some rice, potatoes, quinoa. You're right. You're absolutely right. And at the end of the day, discipline, and I don't want us to just talk about food, y'all. Because self-discipline can be anything. Self-discipline, hold on, I told y'all I'm tired. Self-discipline can also be things like, and I'm trying to think outside of like exercising and eating well, what other things can we be disciplined on or practice self-discipline? Becoming better at a craft. Self-discipline for me would be becoming more savvy with the technology for my podcast. I still am so very confused, y'all, on a lot of things. I promise I tried uploading episodes onto streaming platforms, but I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. I tried to add music, and I tried like 2 times, and I was like, you know what? Not doing this anymore. Like, I ain't got time for it. We'll figure it out next time. But yeah, what are some things that you all are practicing discipline for? Me, it's this, like putting time and effort and consistency into this podcast. Because honestly, I don't think it's great. It's good. You know what I'm saying? We've been vibing. People have been telling me that they're loving it. But I just know that this can go so much further if I self-discipline myself. If I set time throughout the day, every day, because I'm not doing anything. And that's why I be feeling guilty too. If I set an allotted amount of time throughout the day to devote to this, y'all, we'd be lit. More lit than we already are. Okay, I got plenty comments. I love. So Bryson's giving us examples of things he needs to practice self-discipline on. Staying off Amazon and boosting the credit score. Amen to the credit score. Because y'all don't want to know my credit score. But yes. Bree Styles said at one point I was doing really good. Juice 1 time a day in the morning, water the rest of the day. It was hard the first week, but it got easy. Right, so you get used to it, and I think that's what we need to realize, too, that it doesn't just happen overnight. Like, you're going to slip up. You're going to do some of the things again, but you have to realize that you can't stay in that fuck-up, if that makes sense. Excuse my language. Self-discipline for me, keeping myself composed during stressful situations. Amen to that. My mind creates stressful situations that are not there. So disciplining my mind was one of the things that I had to learn to do, to sort of overcome anxiety, and just stress. Like, people think I'm crazy. Some of the things that I tell them that my mind creates, and it's like, yeah. I need to just discipline my mind to say, girl, you tripping, relax. It ain't nothing like that. Like, you ain't got to go and beat nobody up. It's cool. You safe. Venice, hey, girl. I didn't think I was going to see you this week. So she says, and as I'm glancing through it, this is how she is sort of creating self-discipline. She says, have a goal, give yourself a deadline, and a consequence if you don't make it to that deadline. If I don't, okay, y'all talking a whole lot. Hold on. If you don't do X, then I can't go by XYZ. Valid. I want to go back to the definition of discipline. There's at the end of it, Venice, I don't know if you was on when I read the definition of discipline. It says using punishment to correct disobedience. So I don't really like the term punishment, but consequences for your actions type thing. So if you don't do something, you can't do something. That's valid. Some of the things, though, if we don't practice self-discipline for, we'll get a natural consequence, right? If I don't work out 3 days a week, then I might gain some weight because I eat whatever I want to sometimes. Self-discipline of my mind and instilling that perfect word. Oh, thank you. I love when y'all quote me in the comments. This is a sidebar, because sometimes I don't even realize the things that I'm saying, but when you all quote it, I be like, okay, that sounds good a little bit. But yeah, discipline. Another thing that I try to be more disciplined on myself is staying in contact with people, friends and family. I'm a very distant lover, and when I say that, maybe that wasn't the right term. But I love people so much, but I'm not the person to talk to you every single day. If you're someone who I talk to every single day, you are special. Because unfortunately, I don't even talk to my own mom every single day. But that's something that I know I need to work on. So I've been sort of disciplining myself to just do check-in calls with my friends and family, because I know people need that. I know I'm a person who sometimes needs that, even if it's just 2 or 3 minutes. You know what I mean? That's something that I'm trying to become more consistent with in my life. I love the comments. Shout out to my people that are talking to me, because I'm tired. Things I'm working on. I love these goals. Bree Tony said, things I'm working on, disciplining myself in, giving too much effort to situations. Hold on, girl, because now you all up in my house. She said, giving too much effort to situations that don't deserve it. We don't even think about, oh, snap, the comment went away. We don't even think about how many undeserving people and situations we're giving our energy to. Sis, I be giving this love, light, and positive vibes to people who don't even deserve me picking up the phone for sometimes. And that is self-discipline. And I think what that stems from, Bree, and this is just me, this is me relating to that so heavily, is because you probably know what it feels like to need somebody, right? I know what it feels like to really need somebody and want them around, and to be misunderstood. So I feel like I always am like, yes, come here. Let me, let me love you. When sometimes they need the lesson of not having you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could give them that love, that light, but sometimes people don't deserve all of your energy. And sometimes for them to get it back, you gotta go. So I definitely relate to that. But you also be wanting them around too. Like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up, even though I know I probably shouldn't, but I want to be around you too. So teaching other people how to receive you and respect you is also a form of discipline, because, baby, yes, I know. I see people joining. Hey, Daisha. Hey, Christina. Who else we got in here? Hey, Bruntrell. Okay, if y'all listening on streaming platforms, I need y'all to hop on Facebook Live next Monday. Okay, so this is Staten's things that he needs to practice self-discipline for. He says, for me, being stuck in the same spot is enough consequence for me. Like, to have everyone around you growing and you're not, that's enough of a consequence for me, and that's what pushes me. Facts. That is something that I feel like is a natural consequence, but some people are not fazed by that. Some people are okay with, like, stagnation, and I think those people, it comes from a lack of, like, some people can't believe they are where they are. So let's say you come from literally nothing. Like, say you're, like, homeless, sleeping in your car, and now you have this apartment, you know what I'm saying? It's not much, but it's an apartment, and you're not really looking to move from there. It's because, you know what I'm saying, some people don't have that desire. So having a desire definitely means that you need to practice self-discipline, because not everybody has that fire under their ass, and not a lot of people have the self-determination to want to go beyond where they are. I think even just having that idea of self-improvement and elevating yourself is something to be proud of, because not a lot of people have that, surprisingly. I didn't realize that until I kind of got into the professional world, until I, like, got out of college, and I meet people who are kind of, like, stuck in a place, but they don't have to be, but they're deciding not to do something, and I'm just like, so you just cool with? Okay, whatever. What else we got, y'all? Okay, so self-discipline. I'm going to read the definition again, and we're going to sort of move on if you all don't have anything to say. If you have any more comments, suggestions about self-discipline, practicing it, tips on practicing it. I'm practicing self-discipline with my diet. That's probably the biggest thing for me right now, is my diet. And just procrastinating for me is something that I'm trying to... it's something that I'm trying to overcome. It's procrastination, as well as, like, eating what I want, because I know I will be a lot more active, and I'll have a lot more energy if I change the way that I decided to eat and practice self-discipline in that aspect. And I actually am thinking about Brianna Tony. I should have pinned your other comment, boo, where you mentioned giving people your energy. That's a lot of self-discipline also, is knowing where to distribute your energy, because not everybody deserves the best part of you. And sometimes you need to make people work for that. So yeah, self-discipline is what we're talking about. By definition, self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses. So being self-disciplined is an act of overcoming, not just realizing that you have a weakness, but actively overcoming it. It's also the ability to pursue what one thinks is right, despite temptations to abandon it. When things start getting rough, that doesn't mean that you abandon what it is that you're working towards. It just means that you make some adjustments, but you still have to be disciplined. Okay? This morning, I wake up at 8. No, I don't wake up at 8. I work out at 8 a.m. 3 days a week. Plenty days I've been like, bro, I ain't about to get up. This bed feel good. You know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. Ain't nobody telling me to get up, so I'm not going to do it. But I do, and eventually when I get in there working out, I be good. But keep in mind that self-discipline is an act of overcoming. You haven't conquered self-discipline unless you've overcome the thing that makes you weak. We also said that you can't practice self-discipline without recognizing what it is that your weakness is, right? You can't be disciplined at something that you don't recognize as an issue. Find out what your weakness is. Make yourself a plan like we've been talking about. Overcome it. The plan to overcome it, and then you're going to be successful in practicing self-discipline. Any more comments on that before we move on? Because the next topic is juicy. And I hope... So, I'm going to just go into it. So, shout out to Staten again, MVP of People's Podcast right now. Because he gave the suggestion to talk about... Sorry, I'm reading a comment. Brianna Tony, last one about discipline. She says, you got it, though. I think one of the biggest parts of being self-disciplined is also being accountable for yourself. That's true. You got to be able to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself when you have failed at being disciplined. And you also have to get yourself back on track. You got to motivate yourself. So you have to be your own angel and devil in that sense. when it comes to self-discipline. You have to be able to tell yourself, look at you, girl, you did it, congratulations. Or you have to be able to look at yourself and be like, oh, now you know we said we wasn't going to do that, so you got to do better. Self-discipline is about being accountable for who you are and what you do, whether it be right or wrong. Okay? I think your voice got a little lower. It's hot. Somebody said my voice got lower. It's hot. So moving on. The next topic that we're talking about is sex and cinema. Yep. Y'all little ears probably just perked up because I said sex nasties. But someone brought to my attention this idea of the fact that films, TV are becoming a whole lot more sexual than what we're used to. A couple years ago, we thought 50 Shades of Grey was just like, oh my God, look at them having sex on the screen. Like, but this new movie, and I haven't watched it all the way through because honestly, I don't think the storyline is great. But the movie 365 or 365 Days on Netflix, I saw some of the sex scenes. Like I said, I didn't watch it all the way through. So if you guys have seen the movie, this is where you all gauge the conversation. But the idea, what we're trying to discuss is it too much? Are we watching soft porn for free without logging into Pornhub? Is it becoming too much? I have my thoughts and opinions, but again, I haven't seen all these shows. So the shows that were brought up were 365, Love is another show, and The Chi. If y'all have seen any of those shows, they be freaking like you could see they private parts. Or like what's to it? Let me know. 365. I started it, y'all, cause one, I got a problem with foreign films. The English didn't match up to what they were actually saying, so I'm trying to read the captions and the lips not matching the words. So I couldn't get in. I didn't like that movie. I didn't like the storyline of 365 or 365 Days, whatever it's called. But I know I've seen a lot of people talking about oh my God, they be having sex. They be tossed on the ceiling fan, roll up, I don't know what they be doing. But what do you all think? Do you think that TV now is becoming too hardcore sexually? Is it too much? I only think that way in the aspect of children seeing it. But my thing is this. Kids are watching porn. Kids know about sex. Unfortunately, children are having sex. They all have cell phones, tablets. They have access 24 hours to all of the things that are literally way more raunchy than any of these TV shows. So that's my concern when I think about, is it too much? Because as adults, I mean, we done seen the stuff. Unless you one of those people who are a virgin right now at 30, shout out to you. But I feel as far as when we think about our kids, unless you collect your child's phone at night, and listen, these kids are smart. They know how to delete browser history, call history, video chat. Your kids have access to sex all day, every day, whether you know it or not. When you in the bed sleep because you just worked a 12-hour shift, your baby is up scrolling, and they can see whatever they want to see. But I need y'all comments because, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of these films. But I personally feel I don't know if it's too much. My only concern is children seeing it. But at the same time, our kids have access to way more than a lot of us think they do. They know a lot more than we think they know. Trust me, I'm the cool teacher. I'm a teacher, but I'm the cool teacher. And some of y'all kids tell me way more than I care to know. So I have a comment about the show Love. Love on Netflix is a whole scene. You see the man bust his nut. You see the man bust his nut and everything. And that just caught me off guard. I think to a degree it is. But sex is also a part of life. So if a story is going to be told, then why not tell it in its entirety? Not you saying him bust his nut. You actually saw it? You saw... Did you just see his reaction? Or did you see, you saw it, come out? I gotta go watch it. Because he said you see him bust his nut and everything. But that's the thing, too. Sex is natural. And I feel the more we try to hide sex from our kids or try to hide it from society. I don't think that's, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I'm not a parent, you know what I mean? So you definitely have all liberty to regulate your child how you see fit. But I don't think that we should hide sex from our kids. But I think that we should let them know everything that comes with it. Now, by no means am I saying that you should be talking to your 5-year-old about sex. But kids naturally reach a point of curiosity. And once you give your child a cell phone, whether you know it or not, you're handing them sex. Okay? Because without asking, you've been scrolling, your grown self been scrolling on the internet, and you done seen ass and titties and put your pussy lips on live on little boosie. Like, once you hand your child a cellular device, you're handing them sex. So rather than trying to filter, I mean, I feel like you should filter it to the best of your ability. But once they reach a point of curiosity, keep it real with them. Like, don't go and teach them how to do it, but tell them, like, what it is. These are the things that happen when you do it. You know what I mean? And let them know that this is life. It's the real world, but it shouldn't be a priority. And I think that's why a lot of kids, and kids that I know personally, I think that's why they have so much curiosity, is because you try to tell them that it's something that they shouldn't be knowing, or it's something that is like taboo, versus being like, yeah, it's a thing, and this is what could happen. You better show them the pictures of the herpes penis, or you better show them the picture of a blue waffle or something. Because even though I don't think blue waffle real, but you know what I'm saying? Your kids are watching that show on Netflix. What is the show? The cartoon show. Big Mouth. Y'all kids are watching Big Mouth, and they're relating to it. So talk to them. Don't let them get all their information about sex from the media, because that's where it goes left. I got plenty comments. I got y'all. All right. Brianna, and if you all agree with me, please, because I'm looking for more opinions. Again, I haven't seen these shows, so I don't have strong opinions about the shows that I mentioned in particular. But, yeah. So, Brianna Tony said, it's interesting that you're talking about this, because I was watching 13 Reasons Why, and considering these are supposed to be high school students, but they have so many sex scenes. Like, is this technically child porn? Though these are of-age actors. That'd be weird too, bro. Like, it was some show I started watching on Hulu, and it was like teenagers, and they were talking about sex, and I was like, I can't watch this. That's a little pedophile-ish. Yeah, it'd be weird when they be doing that for teenagers. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So that's a good point to make. Shows like that where they show, I don't like that. Camille says, I'm split on this. For some people, sex is really intimate and personal, and they want to keep it private. Others, it's something they're very open about. So I feel like eventually we're going to have a whole sex episode, because y'all are hitting on points that I feel like could be a whole episode in themselves. But yeah, I think just as an adult, I don't think it's too much. But knowing that children have access to everything that we have access to, I think they need to know. I'm not saying that we scale it back, because some of y'all kids are watching full-fledged porn. They probably got accounts on Pornhub. But letting them know all the entities, like telling them that, Camille, telling kids that, you know, for some people sex is really intimate. Some people are really, you know what I'm saying, sexually liberated and open with their sexual experiences. But letting them know the consequences is what's important. The consequences, no matter what. If you have sex, you could get pregnant. You could get an STD. You could, you know what I mean? Letting them know that no matter how it's approached by whoever, these are the things that could happen. Staten said, no, you see it come down. This dude still talking about Shorty busting a nut on the show. He said you could see it come out, run down the shaft and everything. Oh, that's porn, honey. That's big porn energy. I ain't see that. Child, ooh, maybe I don't want to have kids because I couldn't imagine having these conversations with my children. Who, Lord Jesus. Okay, so he says, he's talking about the Chi now. With the Chi, some people say it's too much because they showed a lesbian sex scene and the strap on was used, as well as Luke James. Luke James is on there and his character is dating a transgender woman. Well, damn. And that's the thing, too. I've been seeing some people talk about on social media the presence of gay and queer couples on shows. Is it forcing them? And I'm just like, can we just not tell our kids about sex at all? You know what I mean? Like, can we just, well, not tell them because that's contradicting what I just said. But can we just not, that shouldn't be something that we have to specifically mention. Like, that's a deep topic, and I don't want to get too deep in it because I actually haven't, like, sort of sat down and figured out how I really feel about that. So we gonna have to talk about that in another episode too, when it talks about queer relationships on social media. Because if it's up to me, I don't think children should see sex at all, but they do, and they have access to it. So now you're at a point where you can't limit it. It is a part of our world. Kids see gay, straight, transgender people all the time. So if we're telling them that all people have sex, that doesn't exclude queer people. So it's like, that's just another layer of conversation you need to have with your child if they choose to. Agree? Disagree? I don't know. I'm not going to speak too much on it because I don't have any strong feelings. And I know it's a sensitive topic, so I don't want to offend anyone by my ignorance. But I just feel like, I don't know. Okay. Camille says, I think the most important thing to teach kids about sex is 1, consent, and 2, be respectful of other people's choices around sex, whether they're a virgin or sleeping around. Exactly. I think consent is what you need to, I think consent is the basis, like where you should start. And again, I am not a parent. If you are a parent and you feel like I'm overstepping my boundaries, please put me in my place respectfully. But I just feel like consent is the first part, letting them know that you can't do any of this if you don't want to. If both of you don't agree that it's something that you want to do, I think at a young age we should ask children if, like, can I give you a hug? You know what I mean? Can I kiss you on your cheek? Like, giving kids autonomy over their own bodies is a way that we can sort of make or ease our way into the sex conversation, because they know as a child it's like, okay, you got to ask to touch me. And then they come to the age of their sexual peaks and they're like, okay, you have to ask before you can do anything to me, to people who they're feeling sexually attracted to. Kids 9 and 10, I made them stop. What you talking about, Deja? Okay, stay in. Again, the MVP of the People's Podcast. He gonna be our first guest. Okay, Staten, so get ready. You the first guest, because you be on here, and I love it. He says, we're living in a day and age where sex, sexuality, gender, etc. is becoming very fluid, and not to be so black and white. And these characters and stories we see are what's happening every day. I think it's too much when people aren't educated or given proper context and knowledge. Exactly. That's why I said we need to, like, let our kids know what's up. Let them know what's up, but don't feed into their fantasy. I think that's the thing, too. Like, when kids sort of start to reach that age where they're curious about sex, it's a fantasy to them. So you got to just kind of bring them back down to reality when you're explaining these topics to them. Okay? So, in my opinion, well, okay. Somebody texted me. In my opinion, I don't think that it's too much, only because we're in the age of technology where everything is at your hands anyway. But I do think for our kids' sake, for adults it's not too much. Y'all do way more than you probably seen on these TV shows, so don't stunt. But for our kids' sake, I think it's going to just push us to talk to them about it more. Okay? So we have reached 45 minutes, and I feel like the conversation has run its course. Any more questions, comments, concerns before we move into the last section and we wrap it up? Ooh, see, we were talking about sex and we said wrap it up. Wrap it up. Okay. So I'm not doing any hard work for this episode because this conversation I said was a lot lighter than what we usually do. We usually go like deep into things. But this conversation was very light, so I'm not giving any hard work. If you don't know what hard work is and you're joining us for the first time, we are always working on ourselves on the People's Podcast. And I give out hard work because those are the things that are going to help improve you, that are going to help you to become that are going to help you to become the best version of who you are. So go ahead and view episodes 1, 2, and 3 so you can catch up on your hard work, because for episode 5, we are getting back into the heavy topics that we usually talk about. We've reached the last part of our podcast. Every episode, I shout out a person, an artist, a business owner, someone who is on their grind, on their hustle. And for this episode, I actually have been putting off plugging in this person because I still have some things that they're working on for me that I haven't fully self-disciplined myself to complete or to actually put out into the world. But it's a near and dear friend of me, also a coworker. His name is Bertel Higgins, and he is literally one of the most creative people I have ever met in my life. When it comes to art, music, dance, visual designs, graphic designs, videography. He's literally one of the most, if not the most creative person I've met. And Bertel is actually responsible for, once you see in the next couple of days or so, I'll be dropping a promo video. He created my promo video. He also created the jingle for my podcast. You're going to hear that soon too. So his name is Bertel Higgins and I don't think he's on here right now. I should tag him. But his name is, hold on, I'm about to, Brite. And this is his name on Facebook. And he, hold on, I'm trying to pin it. And Bertel actually has a creative, what would I call it? I would call it maybe graphic design. It's not just graphics though, it's videos and everything. But yeah, he did my promo video that I'm going to drop soon. And he also created the jingle for my podcast that you're going to hear every episode that is uploaded. And it's called Be Creatives. Go on his page. Like, this man, literally, I've witnessed it myself. He like sits in his home and he like watches these videos and like gets inspiration. It's like Beyonce visuals. Like, his creative mind, he's literally like a creative genius. So he's also a really great friend, a really great listener. He's one of the people that literally after every episode, he's like, so you did it. He's so motivating. And I think that has a lot to do with him being so creative because he loves people. He's such a genuine person. So his name is Bertel Higgins. His creative design, I'm going to call it a company because he has the qualities for it to be a company. It's called Be Creatives. You're going to see a video this week that he created. And if you go to his Facebook page, you'll see he does plenty photo shoots of himself. Like, he does these dope photo shoots of himself that have like these different scenes set up. Hey, if he wasn't good, I wouldn't promote him. I don't promote whack businesses, only ones that I think are great. So make sure you go check out Be Creatives. View the other podcasts, listen to the other episodes prior to this one so that you can know about the other companies and entrepreneurs that I've plugged in before. And if that is it, I'm about to sign out on my recording, and then we can just chop it up in the Facebook Live. No hard work this week. So yeah, hold on. All right, it's your girl Toya. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Universal Teas, the People's Podcast. I hope that you can join us on Facebook Live next week. Have a great day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you are listening to this. Love you. Bye. All right, y'all. We done. I didn't feel like doing this either. I am tired. I've been so lazy for the last 2-3 days. I just been lounging. I'm moving and I still got so much stuff to pack. My motivation has been down, y'all ain't gonna lie. So thank y'all for tuning in and talking to me because I ain't feel like doing this today. If you haven't please share the video. Sorry, y'all. Invite your friends to come and chat with us next week. Like I said, I really tried to upload the episodes on streaming platforms, but I couldn't figure out how to. GarageBand is confusing, so I'm gonna have to hit up probably Bertel. I'm gonna have to hit him up to see how to put everything together, because I have the streaming platforms that are, you know what I'm saying, I can upload them. It's just a matter of the technology. I suck at technology, so yeah, that's gonna be what I'm disciplining myself on this week, is committing time to getting this stuff up. Because honestly, I tried to listen to the last episode. Y'all think I fucked it up, and I'm gonna be so sad if I did, because those first episodes was booming. But yeah, shout out to y'all who's still in.